right, what is going on, guys? I'm here with Jesse. Jesse, great to have you, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
On extracting wisdom. So that's what we have it right now, the name of it. And what the main idea of this is having conversations with entrepreneurs, with people who are successful in their fields, having conversations so you can extract the wisdom from what we're saying, whether it be that they have the freedom that they're after, they're successful in their businesses, they have the fame that you desire to have. Whatever it is, you take the wisdom from it and implement it in your life, because there's going to be a lot of awesome action steps that we have. So Jesse, what would you say you're most known for?
I think, to be honest, if I go all the way back to where it started for me, I was in the military. After that, I realized, okay, I wanted to be more creative. I want to build a personal brand. I want to get my message out there. I can't do that if I stay in the military. So I started building a personal brand on social media. So I started with, like 10, 20,000, 10,000 followers. From there, I started a YouTube channel, and then I started to build a community. Then I started doing more of what I felt my calling was, which was acting. I did commercial, I did reality TV, I did film, series, BBC America most recently, which helped me build out my personal brand to what it is now.
What made you interested? So how long ago did you start a personal brand?
I think that's a good question. I think about 2017.
2017?
Yeah. So I think about 2 years I now really started my personal brand.
And that's
because I did have Instagram before, when I was in the military, but I never shared. I never really built my personal brand. So there was no content. So I always say, like, when did I start? 2017. I was consciously putting out content. I was engaging with my following. I was asking what kind of value I could bring them instead of just pushing stuff, right? What do they want to see? I realized very quickly that the majority of my following is women, about 78%, between the ages of 24 and 35. So if I know my demographic, if I know what they want, I started pushing out content that they want. And that's where I build more and more and more. And now we're at the point where I can actually create more value in regards to products, jewelry for women, and appreciate femininity.
That's the power of personal brand, man. I mean, it's so powerful having that personal brand, because then when you get into jewelry, for example, or you get into accessories or other type of clothing, like, they're there for you. They're not just there for the company, they're there for you. They know who you are, they know your values, they know what you're able to give. So were you able to build a big following off of, was TV one of the big things that you built your following from, that your following came from?
A big thing, yes. Yeah. But before all that, before all the acting and all that stuff, I already had a good engagement. I already had at least 80, 90,000 followers.
You're like,
right? So
300,000 now or something?
I'm getting close. But again, it's not about that. It's about the engagement. My engagement back then was way higher. And yes, people complain about the algorithm that was way better back then. But the algorithm changes every day. We have no control over that. We can only push out our content. We can push out our message, according to what our audience wants, and then see how they react to it. And I think a lot of people get stuck up in like, oh, it's not doing well, and I don't get as much likes, so this post is not good enough. That's also what we should address. I think it's a good thing that Instagram takes away the likes. Yeah. So we can just be more creative in regards to our posts, and not just share more boobies or more ass to get more likes and go viral.
More shirtless pictures. Right. So you got into entrepreneurship 2 years ago too, though, right? Isn't that you left your job?
True.
2 years ago.
So for a long time, I've already been building my personal brand. At the same time, I needed that part-time job because I felt that financial security was necessary to also invest in myself, right? Invest in a good website, have a web developer, hire someone. I was actually working to pay my own employee, right? Yeah. It's just so messed up. And then at the same time, I was getting enough revenue so I could buy my first real estate. I was 21 years old. I bought my first place.
21.
So
it's young for most people. A lot of people out there, but they're not making those moves.
And to understand, and this is what a lot of people don't know that about me, but I started from nothing, right? I was raised by a single mom. We had no money. But
shout out to the single moms.
Exactly, shout out. Big time, because I thought for a long time that I had a disadvantage. I was like, I'm looking at all these rich kids, you know, around me at school, and I'm so jealous. Like, I'm here struggling, you know, we can't even get like designer pants. And I felt bad for a long time, and I'm not getting it. Until a later period, you know, when I grew up, I would realize I'm actually having an advantage not having that, because my mentality grows stronger, because I need to fight. I need to get myself out there. I need to accumulate what I don't have. So I reached rock bottom. I had nothing, which allowed me to have the mentality that I have to get to my success now and give back way more than a lot of the rich kids I look down on back then didn't have.
Do you feel like the military was very beneficial for your mindset? Like, did it help you really cultivate the mind to get into entrepreneurship and to start digging into all that
100%.
stuff?
Yeah, because I always thought when I was a young kid, I always thought like the military was my thing. I wanted to be part of the best. Like, I wanted to be a soldier, right?
Yeah.
But really, I wanted to be a soldier in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that what that really entails until I was in it, until I was an actual soldier, and I was like, this is awesome, but it's like not freedom. I am being lived. I am being told what I want to do, what I need to do. So I changed that. I started just doing personal training, started doing high risk security as a part-time job, and at the same time I was like having my vision clear. Right, I need to do this consistently, and then at some point I will get there, and I will make sure that every single day I wake up and get to make my dream a reality.
So what was your vision at that point? Did you say, okay, I want to grow this business so I'm successful, I want to start acting, what was that vision that you had?
My vision was primarily building my personal brand in regards to, yes, acting too, but also accumulating Meester PT, which is my company, with different coaches to also help other people worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I started doing, that's what I started investing in. So we started to bring out merchandise, we started to bring out books, a lot of other stuff, and then just coaches one-on-one. And then I also started to study psychology, because I thought for me to be able to coach the people the way I want to coach them, I need to teach myself first about who I am, what I know about the mind, and you know how I can develop as much as possible my own being and my own presence of a successful entrepreneur and successful actor, etc. And by no means do I claim to be a successful entrepreneur, by no means do I claim to be a successful actor, but at this point in my life, I can honestly say that I can do what I want, when I want it, and that to me is the ultimate freedom that I desire.
As you said, you feel like you're retired at this point.
Exactly.
And that's a beautiful thing, having that. Because like, what is success? Success is just, as one of my mentors says, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So it's you continuously working towards what it is that you're after. Yeah. You continuously, and that's what you're doing, and that's what we're all doing.
True.
We're on this continuous pursuit, getting better, whether it be meditating, as we talked about, every day, having the discipline every day, building your business, making the amount of money that you want to make, having the relationships, like all that comes with it.
Very true. And that's why, you know, it's so important to realize every day, like, am I still doing what is necessary to get there? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times, and you know, like I just said, me now and being in luxury hotels and not in a castle, which is so nice, right? Sleeping in luxury every day, but not being surrounded by the people that, you know, keep you accountable, keep you sharp, because we lose that sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's just natural.
And that's an interesting topic to talk about, like the luxury, because a lot of people listening right now, like they want that luxury lifestyle. I want to be going to Equinox hotels, what we were talking about, spending $7,000 a night, be in these areas, surrounded by these people. But it almost sometimes, I mean, it's cool to see and like that's out there, that's possible, but it takes away from that grit. I know when I went to Equinox Hotel, not hotel, the gym. I was a member at Equinox Gym for probably like 6 months. Now I'm going to Richie's gym. It's Equinox is like $200 a month. Richie's is like $5 or $10 a month. It's like the hustle is so much different.
True.
And just like the get after and put your head down and grind. Even though that's not what life's about. It's about enjoying every area. But it's like there's such a big difference. And you going to these luxury places, I know you go to a lot of them because of what you have going on, the opportunities that you get. Like, what do you feel is the biggest difference between going somewhere where you're surrounded by people who are getting after it, and then people who already made it?
It's again, it depends from place to place, but what it is for me is that for the past couple of 5 years, I've been non-stop traveling, being in luxury hotels, experiencing luxury. So you get to a point of saturation, if you will, and you get to see what it's really about. Not so much, which was my mindset before, accumulating more wealth and wealth for my own self, for my own ego, to spend on luxury hotels, to spend on luxury travel, which I love, right? And I still do, don't get me wrong. But ultimately now traveling for 5 years non-stop and seeing the best of the best, I get way more satisfaction from giving back more than anything. So that's where, and we haven't talked about that yet, that's where my philanthropy kicked in. That's where I started investing in philanthropy, donating money, actually spending my time to good causes, speaking at veteran homes, speaking at senior facilities, speaking at nursing homes across the US. I recently was at a place in Mexico Beach, Florida, where Hurricane Michael took place. It's heartbreaking to see, but to have such a strong personal brand and get out there and spread the message of what actually is still going down at that place, and there's still so much recovery and rebuilding and investment needed to get where they first started. So doing that and getting the love that I receive is so much more valuable.
And that's the power, man. I mean, the power of building a personal brand, of wanting success. A lot of entrepreneurs, when they first get into it, when we get into it, we're like the money, the success, the luxury. But as you continue to build, you're like, wow, I just gave $10. That felt really good. Let me see if I can give a little more.
Exactly.
I just helped this person. Let me see if I help them a little more. You build a big personal brand. Okay, it's cool. I get a lot of chicks DMing me, for example, or a lot of people who want to talk to me, and I'm gaining this fame. But it's like, I'm also able to use my voice to spread messages about things that are more powerful. Like, you have a boxing match. I don't know if you can talk about that.
Yes, of course. This is beautiful what you say, and it comes down to legacy over currency.
Legacy over currency.
Please understand this. Gary Vee talks about happiness, and how much more happiness we should be invested in, as opposed to accumulating in greed and getting more and more for ourselves and drive a Ferrari or whatever, right? Ultimately, that doesn't make you happy. I truly believe that, because I lived a lifestyle of billionaires, especially the past 2 years. So because I lived through it, I experienced it, I can now honestly say, okay, there's much more, which is legacy. And that's something that you leave behind.
Yeah.
Period.
And don't get us wrong, there's nothing wrong with the luxury stuff.
Exactly.
Those are rewards, right? But that's not the end game. Those are just little pieces I can get. This is a reward here. I did this, I can reward myself with that. But as Jesse's getting into, he's talking more about, it's like giving back on another level. That's where it's truly fulfilling. Building that lifestyle, not just for yourself, but for others around you as well. And really giving back, as opposed to just chasing this. Because what I've noticed and what I've been going through, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are starting out, they make money their goal. That's it. My goal is money. And because of that, what happens? They jump from one business to the next, one opportunity to the next. They keep losing their focus. They keep getting sidetracked and distracted. Money isn't your goal or your dream. Your dream is your dream. Your goal is your goal.
True.
Stick to that. What do you truly want? What's the lifestyle that you want to create? What do you want to do with yourself? How do you want to live? Not just how much more money you can make, because that stuff comes. That the money follows. As crazy as cliche as that is, the money always freaking follows.
And then ask yourself, how much do you really need, right? You can pay your rent, I can pay my mortgage, I can travel, I can pay for my food, right? I can live like that. So what more do I need to buy, a pair of Nikes or any other luxury brand, or an expensive watch? Again, these are rewards. It's perfectly fine to get them, but if you are aware what will truly internally make you happy, which are not the rewards, but the end game, the legacy, the people you help, people you inspire, that's what you leave behind. I've been around billionaires on yachts, right? A lot of occasions actually, and they have been so incredibly humble that was inspiring to me. Because when you are with a lot of starting entrepreneurs and a lot of entrepreneurs that are money driven, like you just explained, you lose track of a lot of other things, and I think that takes away from your empire, your legacy, and ultimately how you feel about yourself and how other people will feel about you.
And that happiness as well. As he mentioned, one of my mentors is a billionaire, and he was talking about start with the end in mind. And he didn't say chase money or have this amount of money. He said your grandchildren, that's the end game. Start with that. He's like, this money that I have, I barely spend it. I don't spend any of my money.
Wow.
It's the people who are able to spend these moments with. I get chills just talking about it. Who I'm able to spend these moments with. He pulled up a picture on his phone. He was like, what do you think's worth more to me? The money I have or this? And it was his whole family sitting around the table at Christmas. And it was just so beautiful seeing that. He's like, this is what it's after. So you don't need to go after becoming a billionaire, because if you do, you're going to chase money your whole entire life. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice being with your family and doing these things. What's the amount of money that you can make, as you said, that provides you that lifestyle that you're after? It's usually a lot less than you think. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a certain amount. I'm not telling you to get lazy. We're not saying be lazy and don't do anything and say, oh, they said I don't need to make that much money. No, the more people you serve and the better you are at it, the more money you'll make. So get clear on that lifestyle that you want with your family and how you want to live. Do you want to have a vacation house for your family?
True.
Awesome, great. What do you have to do to get there? And then get clear on what it's going to take to get there.
Well said. Yeah, like ask yourself really, how much money do you need for my happiness? You know, do you want to fly private jet? All right, you got to work hard. You know what I mean? But stop fucking complaining. Stop fucking being negative about every single thing. And like a lot of people with money are still really miserable deep down. Mm-hmm. They're depressed. So please understand what money you need to be happy. I know the answer already. I am happy if I can travel as much as I do now. I don't have to fly business class. I don't have to fly private jet. Do I like it? Yes, but it's not gonna, result in more happiness for me. Like I'm now here with George. I'm going back to Amsterdam. Then I'm going to the UK. Going back to Washington, New York as well, LA. I can do that, and as well pay my mortgage.
Yeah, come to San Diego with us.
And freedom. Only need to be responsible for myself, not a boss, nobody, right? So that is the ultimate freedom, the ultimate happiness. And it took me a while because I was set to a belief of, Jesse, you need financial security. You need to have a job, right? We're all raised pretty much, especially with our current educational system. And I learned it during my psychology studies too. I think I learned more during these connections than throughout my whole psychology studies, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
All it really did is help me diagnose certain problems from a negative perspective instead of celebrating the good things about our behavior and things that we should be investing in, like qualities we all have, right? But what psychology really does is focusing on the negative. But that's a different topic. If you work till 11 p.m. and you're happy and it's fulfilling for you, then do that. Even if it's 2 a.m., waking up at 3 a.m. But don't, and this is something I don't understand, people copying each other.
Yeah.
I understand the concept of doing what other successful people do? Of course, try it out, of course. But what works for them doesn't have to work for you, all right? And I think that's the great thing of our individual capability, because you can bring something unique to the world, to society, that people are still waiting to hear about. And a lot of people are not reaching that potential because they're stuck up I need that car, I need this watch, I need this house. And again, it's transactional. It's not in regards to what value can I bring to society.
What have you found? Because I know you've been around a lot of successful people, you've traveled a lot, you've done a lot of things. Was there any common thing that you've seen amongst those people where you're like, all right, that's one thing that I see they're doing here, he's doing here, like this is that one thing that they're all doing? Or was it just kind of like...
Yeah, honestly, this is a very, very good question. I was extremely taken away by the humble nature of a lot of the billionaires I met. And I will make this specific. We had an incredible. I was on vacation. We had parties. There was no problem. Everything was possible, right? Money here, money there. But there was every dinner we went to. It was like, I come from humble beginnings. We don't waste food, so we just eat what we have to, and we order what we have to, and not more.
Yeah.
And those things that are just character, right? And a humble nature of we can not waste food is something where I feel I resonate with personally. And also basically what we've been saying this whole conversation, what do you need to really make you happy? And that is not that extra piece of sushi. Sometimes those 10 pieces are enough, instead of just taking more and more and more, which ultimately really just makes you unhappy. And that's where I was like, wow.
Because that's what you saw that a lot of them were doing, where the extra, like they were just doing more and more and getting more and more what they didn't need.
So what I found is that people that have short-term success, or they taste a little bit of money. I made that mistake too. I was spending it on luxury things, and I'm like, oh, I'm the man, right?
Yeah.
I bought a car, and then I'm here with a billionaire sitting next to me, and this guy is like, we only order what we actually need, not more, nothing else. Bam. And I was like, okay, he's totally right.
And
because that falls into its place.
Dude, it's so funny that you mentioned that, because my mentor, who's a billionaire, he was staying at a hotel, because I went to Detroit with him, we were looking at things, and he was about to look, he was in a conversation to buy a building, like a multi-million-dollar building. I think it was like 100 million or something. And he's like, I don't want to stay at this hotel. What hotel are you staying at? I'm not staying at this luxury one anymore, because it's just unnecessary.
Wow, I respect that.
That's crazy, because he's making that, and he even told me he wasn't even, now you can enjoy your money, but he chose not to even fly first class. And we were talking on the phone, he's like, I'm flying business class, and I make the amount of money it takes to fly first class within 10 minutes, but I'm not flying first class. Because he chose not to. I mean, don't not use your money, but that's how they think.
Yeah.
They're not thinking, let me spend this. You might have seen the meme where it's like, you see Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and their outfits are worth less than like $100 or something. Then you see these guys
Mark Zuckerberg.
Then you see these guys who just blow their money on everything, and they don't have any money, but they're just balling. They have these chains, they have Gucci shoes, this, that.
Exactly.
And it's funny, it's knowing where you stand with your money. Am I trying to impress people? Am I doing it for me? Like, what's gonna be best for me?
And to be honest, you know what's happening a lot on Instagram. I'm guilty too. Taking a picture with a private jet. All right, I had a private jet flight a few times. I was so proud. I was like, oh, my ego. So I took a picture of that. I put it on Instagram. Right, it's a highlighted version of my life. But do you really think that real billionaires, people with shitload of money, are gonna take a picture in front of their private jet? They're not doing that. All right, they don't need to. You know, they don't even do that stuff.
Yeah.
So please also realize that not everybody, including me, with a picture in front of a private jet is a billionaire. Or, you know,
That's interesting though, from a personal branding standpoint, because that is what attracts people. So what have you, because you have a nice personal brand, you're building things off of it.
But we also got to be honest.
Yeah.
We also got to be
100% be honest. Don't be, this is my Lamborghini, this is my car.
That's what people do.
Yeah.
That's what people do.
Uh-huh.
Like, I genuinely flew a private jet, but I also don't want people to believe that that's what I do every day. No, I fly coach pretty much once a week, but that's reality, right? But I fly so much that that's what I want to afford and what I choose to afford. And yeah, a private jet is again a highlighted version of my life, which is awesome, don't get me wrong, and I'm proud of the picture. But what I see happening, which is a trend right now, hashtag billionaire lifestyle, and the followers get an impression of, oh shit, this guy's really a billionaire, like, and then like they pretend that there's some kind of a messiah or mentor, right, business mentor, and then people are gonna fall for that. It's not cool. It's not cool. I really hate it.
This is what I see from personal branding, and I see from you as well. It's sharing the luxury, right? Because people are attracted to that. That's what people want to see. It inspires people. Great. But also doing your stories where it's like, I'm flying coach too. Like, I'm doing this too. Being full, authentic, and just real with your lifestyle. Not just like this is perfect. This is what I do.
Exactly.
This is my life. But also sharing that part of yourself where it's like, this is also what I'm doing. Like,
Exactly.
this is real. This is real life. I'm enjoying luxurious things because they're awesome to enjoy, but I'm also living a real lifestyle. It's not just luxury.
I'm so glad you say this, man, because this is what breaks my heart every single time I go on social media, especially when I speak to the youth. I speak at a lot of schools in Europe, now in the US too recently, and if I hear them talk, like school kids, like high school, about like, oh, you're a billionaire, you're a boss. I'm like, no, I'm not a billionaire. Like, I feel bad, like, because they see impressions on social media that they feel they need to hear it. They feel
That's
that
happiness.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
happiness, and it's not that, guys. And especially when you turn on the TV and reality TV or whatever, it's not reality. It's fake.
Yeah.
But the youth watches that, right? Watches Instagram, watches social media, gets the wrong impression, and that's why it's so important, more than ever, to educate, to have mentors, more than fathers, whatever. We need mentors, and to be very cautious of the message we put out there.
Yeah, and it's cool though, and to see that because then one of my mentors, Ty Lopez. I'm sure a lot of you know him. You've seen him. I've started working with him before he did his Here My Garage videos, and he's flown me out to speak at his events in LA and stuff. He does the cars, he shows the luxury lifestyle, but he also said that there is not a single person in this world who has gotten more kids to read books than he has. He was walking through he said one of his friends were working at a school in kind of like a ghetto type of district, and there was some kid who was walking with a book, who was reading like a big book, and the teacher was impressed and was like, why are you reading that book? Like, what made you read that book? He said, Ty Lopez said I can get a Lamborghini if I read this book. So it's cool because it inspired the kid to learn, inspired the kid to educate himself. And going full circle, as we talked about in the beginning, most entrepreneurs, they want the success, they want the luxury. So this kid who's reading the book for the Lamborghini, as he continues to go along this journey and learn more, he's going to be like, the Lamborghini isn't what I really wanted. And he starts to become a greater version of himself by doing that study, that help. And that's what's so powerful. It's like, yeah, you can put out the luxury things and all that, but also have that message behind what you're doing to really share. And that's what you do beautifully. You have that message within your posts and helping people with their mindset and helping people with their thought process and how they feel about themselves. Leading with the luxury, yeah, that's the cover of the book, but what's behind that? That's where the beauty is.
Exactly. Thank you so much, George. And this is why these talks and coming here is so important. I'm really glad I got to know you and we're here sharing this message because a lot of people need to hear that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Guys, I hope you extracted some wisdom from that. You can follow Jesse. I don't know if you can see this right here. Jesse Meester, Jessemeester on Instagram. You can follow me, George Wohar 4 on Instagram. I hope you extracted the wisdom that you need to extract from that. Comment below if you had any big takeaways and follow us and do what you got to do, guys.